Hi guys, welcome back to the Free Skate. Finally, my name is Ryan, and I am going to recap today the World Figure Skating Championships 2023 from Saitama, Japan. What a very interesting event. I think for the first time in a really long time, we've had a world judged event for World Championships where I thought the judging was really quite strong. I didn't have much of a problem with any of the placings, any of the standings. I'm trying to think of a separate thing. I was going over judges' scores and everything, and I don't really have anything to say. I can nitpick. A few things, I guess. One of them, this is not anything new, but going back to Maurice's triple toe cow, I don't know how they have a triple or a quadruple toe in there because it's not a toe. Like, there's zero toe about it. It should be scored as a sow cow, which would which would repeat a jump and essentially not really be scored. So, that's the only thing I can say that I would honestly be changing. But that IC needs to take a hard look at that. There's absolutely no reason why he gets scored with a quad toe when it's not a toe. That would be like me putting a double Lutz into my program and taking off a flip and then it's still being scored as Lutz. It's not even close. The only other thing for judging that I would say is in ice dance. This might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I know Master Chalk fell in her free skate, and a lot of people were upset with the scores and the component scores. It didn't go down, etc., etc. But it didn't matter. And B, it wasn't on an element, so the scores that she lost were very minimal because it wasn't on an element. If it was on her twizzles or if it was on a pair spin or a lift or whatever, obviously that would have been absolutely devastating, and then they legit could have lost. But it wasn't, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. And honestly, by far and away, they are 100% the best ice dance team on that ice in this competition. And it's wild how far they came, because at the beginning of the year I was not having it. The judges were not having it. They were getting beat by many skaters that never beat them before, and then they just kind of revamped everything and they changed everything, and man, did they go full-blown speed into the World Championships, because they looked like a completely different team than they did at the beginning of the year. So good for them. Congratulations on their first World Championship, Madison Chalk and Evan Bates. Also about ice dance, I was a little surprised at Lila and Lewis's parity and skating skills, particularly with Lawrence Fournier-Baudry and Nikolai Sorensen. I for one honestly think Lawrence Fournier-Baudry and Nikolai Sorensen have debatably the best or second best skating skills in the entire event, and I thought that they should have a little bit of room in between them and the British. The British were very close. I think some judges even put them ahead of them, so that kind of surprised me. The right team placed ahead, but I would have to nitpick that. Getting on, to the British team, I'm a huge fan of them. I really like their quirky programs and their really high tempo programs. Now it just worries me because I find maybe if they go forward with this too much, I think they're too one-dimensional, and I'm not entirely sure if they skated like a classical piece, like let's say the Nutcracker or Swan Lake or something, how would they interpret it? They're known for their crazy, modern, unique moves in more modern style programs. It would be very interesting to see them with their skills now, how they would interpret classical or another slower piece. Really show off those deep edges and skating skills in a different way and see how they're scored with that. So I wonder if that's something that they're going to try before the next Olympics to see if they can get some more diversity, or maybe mix a program, half this and half modern, So we'll just quickly recap the ice dance results. Masachuk and Evan Bates first place in both segments, 226. Second place, good for them. They've been around for so long. Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri of Italy. They win the silver medal. A little surprised. I do like them as a team, but I the best word I can describe them, clunky. They're clunky. They're kind of heavy. I find watching them sometimes a little bit too laborious. Whereas Piper and Paul, let's say, are so effortless and they glide across the ice. The Italians have good speed, but it just seems very worked. Do you know what I mean? I find her positions and the way she gets set down and their intertwining moves and their lifts and everything, I just find it very heavy. And for that, I think I would put the Canadians ahead. I would have had Piper and Paul win the silver medal, most definitely. I do think Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri did deserve a medal, just maybe ever so slightly ahead of the other the British and the Canadian teams, but I would not have had much of a gap. So Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri had 219, Gilles Lepore 217, Lila Fear and Luz Gibson 214, Lawrence Fournier-Beaudry, Nikolai Sorensen 214. So Fear and Gibson and Fournier-Beaudry and Sorensen were like really, really, really close. They were 0.7 or 0.69 away from each other. So that's pretty crazy. Shout out to Alison Rita and Salius Ambrolevicius, 7th place. A really good showing for them, just under 200 points. A thumb up for them. For me, I really enjoyed them. I find they have really good speed and really good power. They have. I personally think they get slightly undermarked. I think sometimes being from a less known federation, unfortunately in skating, I feel certain teams get looked over. I don't know what else to say about that. And also, congratulations to the Finnish team. They are top 10. They finished in 9th place, 8th in the short dance, and 9th in the free dance, 193.54. So they should be happy with that. So they will earn Finland 2 spots to next year's World Championships. Canada has 3 spots again for their home Worlds coming into Montreal next year. United States also keeps their 3 spots as well, as all 3 teams of them were in the top 10. Let's move on to pairs. Now, pairs was, again, there's so many top teams that have either retired or are not here anymore. Even going back to the last Olympics, the German team, Alice Savchenko, Bruno Masada, where, I watched their free program from the Olympics the other day, and oh my God, it was just absolutely stunningly phenomenal. Sui and Han, again, this massive team. Even, the 3 Russian teams are generally quite good. But this also, missing all of these teams also makes room for others to step up. And that's what we've seen big time with the Japanese team. Riko Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, just so much joy in their skating. They're so light. They fly across the ice. They have such a good connection, and they're such a fan favorite. I'm super stoked for them that they won the gold medal. They 100% deserved it. They did not win the free skate. The Americans did end up winning the free skate, but the point differential was not enough. The Japanese did not skate as well as they could have. She fell a little bit on her jumps, but I mean it happens. But you know what? The strength of their skating skills and their program just really kept them in there. Also, you know what? Shout out Sarah Conti Nicolomacci of Italy, Italy's first ever pairs world championship medal. Congratulations to them. Very respectable, phenomenal free skate for them. They ended up getting 208 points. Good for them. Honestly, they deserved it. I actually thought in the free skate that they were going to be in trouble. I don't know. I had like feelings that they weren't going to do, and like just completely proved me wrong. They were absolutely stunning. Really good for them. So they earn Italy 2 spots for next year's Worlds. Another shout out to Diana Stellato and Maxine Deschamps, Canada. 4th in the short program, 6th in the free skate, just under 200 points, 199.97. No shame there. You know what? They're going to be back there. Don't be surprised if they're going to gun for the next Olympics. They are not done yet. They want that World Championship or Olympic medal. And hey, Leah Pereira and Trent showed 4th in the free skate, 193. Phenomenal. They've been together for not even a full year yet, you guys. I'm so excited for them to move on to next year and have a shot at a home Worlds. I think they're going to bring the house down. They have come so long in such a short time. I cannot imagine what they're going to be like by the time the Olympics come. Super exciting. Let's go to the ladies now. The ladies. So, one of my favorites. Well, I have a lot of favorites for women anyways, but let's start with one of my favorites of this whole competition, especially for underdog story. Nicole Schott of Germany. She has been around for so long, and she's always been kind of just hovering around either qualifying for the free skate or like top 12, 15, like 10. She finished 7th. She was 7th in the short program, 9th in the free skate. The only reason why she dipped in the free skate was because she didn't have as much difficulty as the other ladies did, but she was squeaky clean. Good for her. She got a standing ovation, and that was definitely the competition of her life. It was the performance of her life, back-to-back clean skates. Honestly, good for her. I was super happy for her. She should be very proud of herself. Han Lee, what an absolutely phenomenal free skate. That was, what did she get, 148 or something like that? Instant standing ovation from the Japanese crowd, even though they knew that Kari Sakamoto had to go next. And you know what? That Japanese crowd was so big. It was so boisterous when it was called for. They just appreciate everyone. They support everyone. I think that is the best place to have big world skating competitions is Japan. I'd say Japan or Canada probably are the top 2 places to have international competitions, because both fan bases support everyone so good. But you're going to get the 20,000 in Japan like we did. It's going to be very interesting next year to see what kind of crowd is in Montreal. I really hope the Canadian fans show up. I want to see that building packed like they packed the Japanese one. You know what? Bell Center in Montreal is a huge arena. Over 21,000 people seat in that arena, so they could have just as big crowds. I really hope they come out and support the skating there. I want to go so bad, you guys, but you know what? Montreal it's very expensive there, and I feel like the tickets are going to be very expensive there too. And I don't know, money only goes so far, so we'll have to see. I'm going to have to make a GoFundMe page, or maybe I can cover it live. Get some media accreditation. How cool would that be? So again, Han Lee, her free skate, she won the free skate, 220 overall. Just an awesome skate. Kari Sakamoto did just enough to hold on. You know what? She only had a minor mistake. She thought, the end of her program came, and she thought she was. I think she thought she had lost it because she seemed very upset, but I don't think she knew how the other skaters had done and what the scores were and everything like that. She also had, quite a lead as well, so that was good for her. But Kari Sakamoto, best skater in the competition, by far the power that that girl has is just phenomenal. And you know the way she acts out that program, it's so powerful. She connects to the audience, she brings you in, and she just flies. And I would be okay with her keeping that program for next year. It was so good. Or maybe she should bring it back for the Olympics. I think it's one of the most favorite ones that I've seen her do. She suits it so well. And for her to do that in front of a home crowd, there's so much pressure on her. Good for you, Kerry Sakamoto. Amazing. 224.6 went over Aluna Hendricks. 210.42. She hangs on for the bronze medal. Fifth in the short program, fourth in the free skate. Ends up with a bronze medal because of shifts of other skaters. Isabel Levito was fourth in the short, fifth in the free skate. Big mover for Cheon Kim of South Korea, third in the free skate, 12th in the short program. She ends up sixth, just ahead of Nicole Schott. Madeline Skizas, unfortunately, does not earn Canada 2 spots for next year's Home Worlds. She finishes 13th. She did move up a little bit from the short program, 16th in the short, 11th in the free. And she is probably going to be a little disappointed with that. She does need to try and, you know, she's not too far off 200. She scored 187.49 here, and there's definitely a lot of improvements she could make if she skated clean, fully clean both programs. I think she would have probably been around 200 points for sure. But you know what? Her free skate, returning to Madame Butterfly, thank God, was not a fan of her other free skate all year. I thought it was very kind of juvenile West Side Story. I don't know. It just didn't show anything off for me. I think what she also needs to do is she really needs to dig into her skating skills and her presentation. She has a really good base for it, but it still seems a little kiddish to me at times. They're going to have to figure out a way to bring her up to that elite level that can compete with, you know, high 8s, low 9s, mid 9s for PCS. She's not quite there yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does in the next few years, especially with Canadian ladies. There's Kai Rutik and Fiona Bombardier coming up in the ranks as well. And they are very, very good skaters. And if Madeline makes any mistakes at next year's national championships, her championship could be in a lot of doubt because those girls are going to push her, and they're going to want to take that title. I kind of felt sorry for Katerina Kurakova. She was so happy after her free skate. She thought she did so well. And she did do really well, but she had so many under rotations and downgrades. It absolutely killed her. She was 17th in the free skate, and she looked stunned when she saw that score come out. I think she only got 115 in the free skate. She was not very happy about that. I felt so bad for her. Okay, so also let's go to men. So you guys, where do I start with the men? Let's start with our favorite Canadian American, 4th place in the short program. To me, you could have given him the whole world championship in the short program. Keegan Messing, his short program was the season for me. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was the best he's ever skated. 98 points. He was just under 100 points for his short program. And the only other thing he could have done was thrown a quad lutz in there somewhere. Just his quad, his triple lock, everything was so unbelievably spot on. It was like the highlight of my year. I was so happy for him, and the crowd ate it up. It was absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, his free skate, he was 11th in the free skate. He did have a few errors, significant errors, including one. The guy's the best spinner in the competition, and he fell in a spin. Unbelievable. But what are you gonna do? do we believe that Keegan is retiring and he's not going to compete next year? I'm like 90% sure that that's what's going to happen. But you know what? He did so well, and he created personal best scores, and he's looked really good this year. I feel like he's doubting it somewhat, and he can come and compete. And honestly, it's sad, but there's like no other guys. I'm so worried about Canada for next year's World Championships. So we get 2 spots. Canada gets 2 spots. Thanks to Keegan's 7th place finish. Hopefully Conrad or Sadovsky step up a little bit. They really need consistency. Conrad looked disarray in this World Championships. I know he had skate blade and boot issues, and that probably had a lot to do with what his skate was, but he didn't even make the free skate, so that was super disappointing. He did finish 26th overall, 67.65 points. That's just not going to cut it. Keegan ended up with 265.16, so that's actually not even that bad, to be honest with you. Jason Brown came back, hasn't skated all year. 5th place, top 5 in the world, 280.04, and he doesn't even have a quad. Every time I think, can you imagine his scores if he could do 1 or 2 quads? They would be like, he'd be over 300, like, for sure. It's mind-blowing. His skating skills are like 10 out of 10s, like, all the time. Just absolutely phenomenal. Don't like my hair, you guys. This has been bugging me like all day. I need a haircut. Kevin Amos really surprised me in the free skate. He was able to keep it together and put down a clean free skate. He was 4th overall. Good for Kevin. Ilya Malinin, I think there was some contemplation that he could win the World Championships because he has so many quads. But unfortunately, his skating skills aren't, like, they're actually pretty decent for the fact that he's just like new into like senior and doing this. But much like Trusova used to be with her quads, you can't always win a competition with just all quads. You have to have a program with it. And he is trying, but he's not quite at that level yet. I have no doubt by the time the Olympics come around, that guy will be at Nathan Chen's level or over it, like, for sure. But he does win the bronze medal, 2nd in the short program, 3rd in the free skate, 288 overall. The guy's getting 288, and he's like not even like a full-on like senior elite PCS skater yet. Crazy. Junwon Shaw, his free skate, you guys. Oh my god, it was absolute dynamite. He was 3.97 points off of 300 points. So good. I was actually really surprised that he had skated that lights out. His free skate, I think, in my opinion, was probably the best of the entire event. I know Shoma won the free skate and the short program overall. He finished with 301.14, and he won the gold medal at home. Good for him. I just found Junwon Shaw slightly cleaner than Shoma was, especially on some landings. Yeah, I want to know what you guys thought about the men's event. Is there anyone else that stood out to you? I'm trying to go down the list here. Daniel Grassel. It's beyond me why and how somebody can tell you that they are having, mental issues and they got to get a new training environment. I don't know. All the places and all the coaches that you choose, you're going to go with a Terry? Like, what? In my opinion, I'm thinking like Russia bought him from Italy or something, and like he's gonna be trafficked or something. I don't know. It was just so bizarre to me that out of all of the places to go and the situations that's happening, like that's who you're gonna go for coach. I don't know. Anyways, Terry did not seem very happy about Daniel's skate and her other skater. Funny how I'm not implying anything. Morrissey, 20th place. Like, what is that? Like, he was so good the last few years, and it's funny that I feel like maybe her skaters and her team is being a little bit more heavily watched than before. So maybe his vitamin content is off. I mean, again, I'm not like hinting at anything, but I found it really interesting that the guy can't even finish his programs anymore, and like let alone like jump clean. Like he is so far back down under, and all year too. There wasn't even like one instant this year where it's like, oh yeah, like there's my, like every single competition was genuinely awful for him this year. Maybe he has mental health issues and he needs to find a new camp. We're gonna leave it at that. Sorry, I'm like getting stuffy here. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much everyone I want to talk about. I'm sure I could go on for like another 30 minutes talking about every skater, but I'm not going to because I'm already at 26 minutes. So the IOC has recommended that Russian athletes are allowed back into competition under a neutral status. What do I think of that? Funny you should ask that. I think it's a load of shit. I am super disappointed and very against that. And honestly, it's not even really that much to do about the war. Everyone seems to bring up the war. It's a little bit to do with it, especially if you attend events or showing like public support of this thing. No, you should not be in international events with like innocent people. However, if you don't show support, I feel like maybe you could be given kind of like a pass to like compete. However, it's not even about that. It is about the doping for me. Regardless of the amount of the banned substance found in Valieva's test, it was still in her system. They say, well, it was likely contaminated and this and that and whatever. Your stories have changed like 6 times, by the way. So nothing they say is even credible. Even the CAS comes out, the Court of Arbitration of Sport comes out with that document saying about it being contaminated and this and this. Okay, so you're scratching the surface of the whole event. But there are so many more questions and so many more concerns. Like, I don't know, Russia was involved in statewide sponsored doping that the entire country knew about and their whole sports governing body was like aware of and doing. That's not a red flag. Why should any athletes be allowed to compete? Russia also has, by the way, I looked it up, the most failed doping cases on the planet by actually a long shot. You know who's second? United States, by 3 times less. That's a big, big, big difference. And there are other countries that have almost no cases. And in that case, Russia is about 154 times more than those countries. That is not fair. Why is the governing body of the Russian sports not disbanded and defunded and redone and nothing is happening? That is why they should not be allowed to compete. So this whole Valieva doping thing is scratching the surface of a much, much, much deeper problem. Now, her case specifically, trace amount or not, was still in her system. And what's even more concerning is the story that they brought up as a cover-up about her grandpa's teeth and whatever that stupid thing was. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard because the timing and the distances didn't even make sense. So that's out right there. And they actually think we're going to believe it too. I have big, 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 big problems with this. Not to mention, the fact that the coaches of Russian skaters and certain officials have belittled and downgraded other people from other nations about their skating and how they look and how they train and everything. And then they put the blame on everyone else, making it seem like we're the villains and that we're treating them unfair. But they're the ones being caught every damn time in a stupid doping case. It's no one else that's being caught in a stupid doping case. There are single athletes here and there that, yeah, of course, there's always going to be doping cases of stupid people. They should be kicked out. But not statewide sponsored doping. You have consistently had a track record of your entire sports governing body in on this. Another concerning thing, Dr. Shvetsky, if any of you know him or don't know him, he is the Russian team doctor who was giving the vitamins to the girls and everything like that. He was already banned from sports because he was participating in the doping. Why is he beside the figure skaters in the kiss and cry area or at the Olympics in Beijing? Why? No reason for that. Absolutely ridiculous. If you had, I can't ever imagine Canada hiring somebody that's been banned and then, a few years later, they're from a few years ago, and then they're all of a sudden, on TV with, the team, coaching teams, strategizing again. Would you not, as, a country, have them banned, for life? You're not welcome in the sport anymore. It was a deliberate doping scandal. It wasn't oops, sorry, we messed up. It was literally beyond a reason of a doubt that it was all planned on purpose. That's my problem with the Russian athletes coming back. Unless you're going to be testing them, every single day, I don't want them back. And the testing should be done independently by reputable, honest parties and monitored very closely. Maybe the test results I don't even know how you would do it without the risk of being, of it, being taken advantage of. Anyways. So that's the whole thing about allowing the Russians back in. Is I don't necessarily have a problem with the Russian skaters. I think the sport is obviously better, as it should be inclusive to every athlete. But when the problem is so big as this, where an entire country's sporting body is in on crap like this, you are not welcome. Maybe the Russian athletes should be moving to the United States or some other completely non-Russian involved country to train in different camps and a new setting and everything, and then see how they do there. But as far as I'm concerned, I think it is a huge mistake for Russia to be able to compete. I just heavily disagree with that. So let me know what you guys think of that, because I'm very interested to see everyone's opinion on this. And let me know what you thought of the World Championships. A+ to the crowd in Saitama, Japan. You were absolutely beautiful to watch. You made the sport look so much more credible than an empty arena. It was awesome to watch on TV. You had the building filled to the rafters. Thank you guys for hosting such a wonderful event. Maybe one day I will get to go and watch an event in Japan, and that would be super cool. And I love Japanese food. But anyways, I'm done my World Championship recap, and maybe we'll have another video or two coming up before the end of the season. But until then, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you later. Remember to follow me, smash the like button. Yeah. See you soon. Bye.